Hello, Libra, my darlings. So the first image that I had of you, first I have to say, there's so much energy here for you. There's so much appreciation and just like go for it kind of Libra energy. This is how they presented it to me. I saw you standing there on the crest of a hill looking out over this beautiful horizon, and you've got your fists ready to go, and you go, ah! It's like, yes, you're ready. And that's exactly the feeling that I'm getting, is that Spirit really wants to encourage you to do that. Now, the song that I heard was I'm an Old Cow Hand. And I didn't really remember the lyrics, so I went and looked them up. So basically the song is about somebody from the city not being a cowboy, but singing a cowboy song. And it's not about faking it. What they're talking about is, I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande. My legs ain't bowed and my cheeks ain't tan, but it's talking about, I am this. I've done it all in a car. Basically, I've done it all in a car. I've seen the trails, I've done it all. So it's like, there's no shame in not being something else other than what you are. And that's the feeling that I get very often with Libra, is there's that sense somehow like they haven't lived up to their potential, like they've had a dream about who they should be, or this vision of who they're meant to be, and that a lot of them have lived a good portion of their lives feeling as though they have let somebody down, or they have let themselves down. And what the song is really talking about is that you get to be who you are. There's nothing to compare yourself to. There's no image that you're supposed to be. I would go and listen to that song, I'm an Old Cow Hand, and look at the lyrics to it, because it's beautiful as you read through it. It's like, oh, well, they haven't done that. Oh, well, they haven't done that. Oh, yeah, but they did. And finally, it's a beautiful song that's really talking about being good with who you are and not feeling less than the image that you had. So the other song that came along was, I don't even know the name of it, but it's Rules. Rule, don't let him in. Rule, don't be his best friend. So it's counting down the list of things you don't do if you don't want to get sucked into a bad relationship again. And I feel like this is talking to you about you. Don't let yourself get sucked into a bad relationship with yourself. Don't let yourself fall prey to those ideas, those patterns of thought that say, I'm not enough, I should have been more, why didn't I do that? If only. That is something that Libras, you have had a tendency to do in your life. Now, you've also been doing a lot of growing, and you've been looking at a lot of your patterns, and you've been really making steps to look at yourself differently. And there it is, discipline. To look at things differently and to see yourself differently. But we know, Libra, that it's not an easy thing to maintain when the patterns of thought are there for a long time and have been there for a long time. It takes time to change your neural patterns, which really is, it's just so darn down to earth biological. It is physiological. This is something that takes time. So what you're being asked to do is to create a discipline for yourself that supports you in changing the patterns. This is what I'm hearing. Number one, the first thing, you're going to set a protocol for yourself. This is what they're suggesting to help you. Set a protocol for yourself so that, number one, when you start having the negative thoughts, You have a moment where you intervene. As soon as you catch yourself in it, you lovingly stop yourself and say, oh, okay, that's the pattern of thought. That's the neurological loop that's starting. Okay, so now what do I want to do with that? And it's basically setting yourself, whatever steps work for you, just not go into that. So it might be looking for cognitive distortions. It might be distracting yourself, but it's really talking about, like, it's really time now. Stand up. It's not just about past, present, future. That's exactly it. That's exactly what they're talking about. You can't get caught up in those old patterns that have come about because you thought you should have been something, because you had an idea of who you should have been in the past and you're not it. Spirit is really saying to you, it's not just about setting up a discipline to stop yourself from going into that past regrets. This is also about you standing up bravely on the crest of that hill, looking out over that beautiful sunrise, saying, this is a new day. This is me. And I am happy and ready to stand for me because I know Spirit's got my back. Even if nobody else does, Spirit has got my back. This is you really, really saying, giving up relationships, giving up thoughts, giving up pattern behavior, giving up roles, responsibilities that were supporting that old you. That's the thing you need to be really willing to look at and say, is this supporting me in this new vision of myself? Does it have that energy? Or is it supporting the old energy? And if it's supporting the old energy, is it because I'm seeing myself that way in this situation? Or is it because the situation is really creating that for me? Because maybe it isn't. Maybe the person that you're with, that you have been, for example, subjugating yourself to, is secretly wishing that you'd step up and start saying, no, darn it, I would like to be happy. I think I would like to be positive about myself. I think this is the new me. I've gone down that river. I've looked at the sides. I've checked out what's there. And I've looked at my patterns. And now it's not just about not going into them. It's about building new ones. It's about really standing strong in yourself. Okay? This is about owning who you are in a good way. Seems to me like a lot of the stuff this week I'm reading is really about reminders about things that have been said before. For some reason this week, it seems really important for people to be reminded. And here we have head over heels in love. What if you really believed that there was a divine force that thought you were just fine, that you didn't have to struggle, that you haven't done anything wrong, you haven't failed at anything. You've just lived your life and learned. And now where do you want to go with that? Do you want to stay in a sense of self-defeat and sense of self-recrimination, or do you want to step out of that energy and let the new phase of your life form in this energy of self-appreciation? Okay? You obviously, there's going to be concern over what's going to happen if you change some of these things. And of course, if you're changing relationships in any way that could be dangerous for you, you know what I mean, then you need to make sure you take precautions about how you get yourself, extricate yourself. But what I'm really seeing, this is really mostly about, Libra, is you challenging your own mind, but not just challenging it to do what you've already discovered you need to do. It's setting things in motion to do that, to not go into the past. But now we really want to get that positive energy moving for yourself, where you actually dare to stand up and go, holy cow, I'm so much better than I thought. I'm so much cuter than I thought. I'm so much smarter than I thought. I'm so much wiser than I thought. I'm so much more connected to the divine than I thought, and to the deeper part of myself. Don't just say things to please people. Say what you feel and especially within your own mind. Please don't cut yourself off from thinking sincere, deep thoughts about you, what you're worth. There's nobody inside your head but you. Okay? Nobody's listening in except your body. Take the chance to be really honest with yourself so you can make whatever choices you want to make to support you in this well-being in a way that feels authentic and right to you. Some of you are never going to get up and stand on the crest of a mountain and beat your chest and say, I'm magnificent. Although I wish you would, if you feel it. But there are ways for you to do it according to your personality and your situation. Okay? Wherever you feel resistance to it, understand that's where there's a place of growth. So if you're listening to this and you're going, oh no, I couldn't, check in with that. Check in with why. Check in with what's underneath there. Because all this is just old patterns. You're so much more than your patterns. So challenge the pattern of following your patterns. Okay, Libra? Sunrise. Beautiful horizon.